17. Which do you prefer, mutually agreed upon decisions or defer to your spouse's judgment?
Majority of the time, I usually defer. I won't go into why. Should I go into why?
We'll go into why a little bit later.
Yes, I think where I am naturally now is just defer. Don't make a decision. Defer.
I'd go with mutual. Wasn't that the option? Yeah, it was the option. Mutual.
It was.
Yeah,
No.
I'm laughing
Yeah,
because
I know why he's laughing.
Yeah.
it's just you said you'll go mutual. You said defer, which is very stark difference.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Definitely mutually agreed upon. I think that it should be a 50-50 buy-in. I still do believe in that traditional marriage role of the woman should follow the man. However, there's still, in that space, there's still room to have 50-50 in the sense that I'm still getting buy-in. It's not just you making the decision, then coming back, telling me later, okay, so this is what we're going to do. No, I need to know, I want to be a part of that process that,
Right.
and in certain situations, that's okay. However, even within that process, let me be a part of your decision making. And I want to know the factors. I want to know everything before you, or even know why you want to make that
Right.
unanimous decision.
Were you always like that?
No, I don't think so. No.
What were you like before?
Before marriage?
Well, before you were like having this desire to have the decision making made mutually.
Before marriage?
Whenever that was, I don't know. I'm not putting a time on when you were like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Because you could have been like that in marriage.
no, I've always been that way. I always want to be a part of the decision making. I don't think it should just be one person calling the shots, whether that's me or whether that's him. It's 50-50. Like, let me be a part of the decision making that you're going to make for the whole family. That doesn't mean that I don't trust my partner to make those decisions on his own. However, he has a helpmate. That's why I'm here, right? Like, don't push me off to the side. Let me be a part of that. There's certain things he may not see that I might know.
Right.
That's a good one.
And so let me be a part of the decision making.
How was that transition to this place where you desire this type of
A struggle. A struggle. Because that wasn't, again, as he even just stated, right? Like, you prefer to defer.
Right.
However, he has his moments where he will just make decisions based on his upbringing and how you were raised. It's just like, okay, when you do feel strongly about something, I'm just gonna make the decision, keep moving. And so that was something we also had to work through, which again, I said, is a struggle because we have differing opinion and views. So a lot of times he does defer to me, but even if he does defer, I still be like, hey babe, what do you think about blah, blah, blah? Like, I'm not going to just make the decision on my own. I'm still having conversations.
So you defer and you unilaterally make decisions.
Yeah. So I'm naturally I'm laissez faire. But when I do feel strongly, or when I think and I feel something needs to go a certain direction, it must go in that direction, no matter what's happening. So that's
sure that
which we're working on.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yes.
I was going to say, I'm sure
That's
that
the point of contention.
brings out a point of conflict in y'all's marriage.
Yes. But
But you started off by saying that you defer.
Yeah, I do.
And you were
defer.
like, I'll explain why later. Explain why.
95% of the time, I feel like he defers.
Yeah, 95%. Because
Oh, okay.
It's a
That's
handful.
good.
It's a handful. But it's always the big stuff that is the handful.
So I mean, in most parts, you still get to your destination. It's just which route are you taking? Are you taking the uphill or the downhill, the cruise control, or you gonna pedal to the metal? 75 all the way there. So in all honesty, there is no wrong decision per se. So it's more laissez-faire. So what would you like to do? You would like to eat pasta tonight or chicken? You're still gonna get fed for the most part. So that's most of the decisions that come to our plate. That's the decision. It's how we gonna tackle it, right? That's really the question. How are you gonna tackle it? So stuff like that, I defer because either we go left or right.
You don't care.
We're still going to make to the destination. It's not going to harm us or be detrimental to
Was
us
that decision-making process for him okay with you in the beginning? Why is that?
Because I care about the process in which we get there. I don't want to be kicked hypothetically. I mean, not hypothetically. What is it? Symbolic?
Figuratively.
Figuratively. There we go. I don't want to be kicked, knocked down, get bruises, have to heal from that. No, I don't appreciate that
through
type
the
of
journey,
process.
you mean? Through the journey.
Through the process of making that decision.
Yeah.
The journey to get to the final destination is what is important to me. I want to know that you're being emotionally supportive throughout that journey to the final destination, not just bulldozing through.
That's important because that's a lot of times what we see in, especially the different dynamics between men and women, newly married, old marriages, that there is and people always lead with, the bottom line is, well, you don't get to the bottom line until you calculate all the different other lines. And it's the other lines that actually equate the bottom line. So you can't just say the bottom line is, because it's all the other things that make up the bottom line. And when people look at the bottom line is we get there by 7:00.
Yes.
But when you get there, and the analogy that Bernie and I have used is when you get there, do you want to like mad kicking and screaming, you fussing, cussing at each other, like you get to the party at 7:00 because that's what time it starts, but y'all don't have a good time together. So would it have been better for y'all arrive at 7:30 and y'all have a great time, and then or get there at 7:00 and have a miserable time?
Right.
And for some people, getting there at 7:00 is a goal. That's the goal. Getting there at 7:00. So we got to get there at 7:00. Like, it's different when you say like we got to catch a flight. The flight leaves at 7:00. You got to get the flight. Happy, mad, sad, or whatever. But if it's depending upon the circumstances, it will depend on what it is that you do and how you approach it. So the difference between what those things, the things that are like important for you all to pursue together at a timely manner, or like the bottom line ish, versus the process. How did you all kind of figure out what works for the two of you?
It was a lot of communication, and I would say to a lot of self-assessment and self-realization on my part.
Okay.
I might say I don't, but do I really care? If we make this decision, even though we're gonna get there, I really had to do a lot of self-assessment too. Will I make it? How will the journey affect me as well as her through this process? Okay. I had to do a lot of self-realization and self-assessment of myself rather than taking more of a laissez-faire. And I mean, through experiences too. This was very, very, very. This was very. This was a very important learning lesson. As a husband, this was a very important lesson I learned. Okay. I'm gonna take it back to the Bible because this was preached too.
Okay, take it back to the Bible.
It wasn't the presence of the falling of Adam and Eve was because Adam remained silent.
Yeah.
So I took that literally because no matter what happens within your marriage, what happens within your life, if you're there, you don't speak, you don't even have a say in it, and your wife made the decision, you still, as the head of the household, will be held responsible
for it.
Always blame up.
So
I always do.
Yeah, so I took that literally in our marriage too. I've experienced it. Decisions. Oh, I don't make a decision, then I'm looking. Even if it fails or it succeeds, you have to own. You take responsibility. So own some part in it. Yeah. You don't just kick your feet up. Right. Lead.
I'm not going. I want you to finish, but that is such a critical point that I want to definitely drive home. It's a biblical point because for some who don't have a biblical perspective, that don't subscribe to that dynamic, that even though if the wife makes a decision or whatever culminates from what she decides to do, ultimately it's the husband that's responsible. Yeah. And I think about it like from a child perspective. If a child goes and takes something off of the store shelf and breaks a glass, it's a child's fault, but it's a parent's responsibility. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now the parent got to pay for that. Yes. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with a marriage, a Christian marriage, that even though the wife Eve, let's say Eve bit the fruit or ate the fruit, Adam was standing right there and he didn't step up.
Yes.
And as a result, the whole dynamic of their relationship with each other and with God changed.
Yes.
And that, I won't get into all the details about how that's important, but for you, go ahead.
I also in that handled or was a lesson for the laissez-faire side of me. The more emotions, we don't get too much in me. I don't get too emotional. So if I feel emotionally driven about something, we are getting there. You know, sacrifices will be made.
Give us a example or a story of when you felt emotionally about something.
Oh Lord, I haven't done this in a while. I can't. I know she has examples, but I can't pinpoint a certain example. This happened recently. This literally.
Okay.
Let me be transparent.
I'm trying to think.
What was it?
Let me be transparent. Right. This happened recently, but it didn't come to fruition. Right. So, a few days ago, right? Actually,
a few days ago.
Yesterday.
Mm-hmm. This is brand new.
Recent.
So yesterday, so we had to come here at 1:00 today, and we had to do this. Then
Are you going into details?
Oh, I shouldn't go into details?
No, you shouldn't.
Okay, so...
know your audience. Know your setting.
Okay, so I felt strongly... even though we had this planned and something else was dropped that wasn't on our calendar, but that's another situation. We live by a calendar. So I'm like, I felt strongly that I want to spend time with my nephew. And I was having a conversation. Mind you, he's 4, and he asks me, "Can I come over?" And I'm always saying yes. So just saying yes. And I heard, "You didn't check in with me before this." And I'm like, "Oh, I did it." And this time, his mother was like, "Oh, I'll drop him off at this time." I'm like, "Oh, so this is really happening." And then I have, I didn't check in about this, but I feel very strongly about this. Right?
What happened?
And then,
What was the outcome?
The outcome was, and then my wife, so it was a dilemma. I prayed on it. I don't know.
Prayed on it.
So I did contact her and let her know, hey, we have things scheduled, so we'll have to postpone.
Of which we did.
But it was one of those things that I felt strongly. I felt hurt that I can't spend time with mine because.
But so you said that if you feel real strongly about something, then you're just gonna go for it.
Oh no, I did. I asked her how many times. I'm like, I'm gonna keep asking you this until you say yes.
Yeah, he said that yesterday.
Yeah, and I had.
You only asked twice though.
And I had a little bit of spice. A little spice the whole day, on everything the whole day. But I had to check myself. I didn't check myself, but I was cognizant that I feel strongly about this. This is something I want, but how I can't get my way in this. I had to defer to her to get approval and blessing on this. So it was something I felt strongly on. I tried my best to force it subtly. Force it subtly. It's the subtle touches, but once I realized, this is not going to work out, or this will be very detrimental in the long run. I might get my way, but in the long run, it will be very detrimental to our marriage, or I will have to pay for this in some way, shape, or form.
Correct. It will not be a happy home.
Yeah, and I realized, this is probably not worth the...
I'm hearing a lot of stories about, Anthony, your evolution and your growth, and you started off before... Y'all got married. Trust was down to 0. You rose to an 80%, and then you've been vacillating ever since.
Yes, such as marriage.
I haven't heard a lot of different transformative life stages or marital stages that you've gone through personally. Have you been like steady the whole time? Like, okay, I'm the baseline, and you have to reach my standard, or has there been any kind of development that you've had to go through, that you've had to learn from?
I've definitely had to make changes as well. Just as we're 2 different people from 2 different walks of life, I've also had to make changes in knowing, okay, this is the way Anthony operates. For example, he likes to bulldoze through if he wants his way. And so learning how to be calculated, right? Learning how to be not savvy. I don't want to say savvy, but
Patient.
just learning how
Not
to come.
patient.
Not patient.
No, I don't want to say savvy, but just learning how and when
Strategic.
to be strategic. There we go. How to be strategic when it comes to certain, when you may get in your way or whatever the scenario might be. I think I have learned how to do that as a wife, and being your wife in particular, and knowing you.
But that's all contingent upon Anthony and how you respond to him.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the things that Anthony has talked about are things that he personally
Okay, I see what you're saying.
was dealing with, and that was causing you frustration,
Mm-hmm.
and he had to change so that you would be happy. Have you had to make any changes so that he would be happy? Or have you just been the static through line through everything, and it's like
I don't know. I don't.
all lines come through me?
No, I don't think all lines come through me, but I'm sitting here thinking, what are some of those things? Because they are definitely there.
Look at Anthony. Anthony's just like,
Anthony's
I'm
Anthony
not
know?
going to
'Cause
say
he's not?
anything.
I mean,
Do you know?
so I can just think about a few items that that have rubbed me the wrong way that I had we discussed. I do. Actually.
You're cutting all of this out, right?
Yeah, you couldn't know. Okay, certain things. Yeah, certain things. Babe, I don't think you've grown.
I'm not cutting that
Wow.
I'm drawing a blank.
out. Is it that she's not grown, or that you
I think I'm simple.
that she is more of a standard bearer?
Yeah, I think more that. I knew what I got into, so.
God, your words, Jesus.
No, but I really understood my wife before I married her. And you walk in, you walk in not expecting somebody to change. If they change, not expecting somebody to change for the better. That's how I see marriage. If they change,
You don't want them to change for the better?
you don't expect it. If you walk into a marriage forever expecting somebody to change, you
I
will
see
be
what you're saying.
disappointed.
Oh.
If it goes the other way. So you know what you're getting. You have a baseline.
So you accept them for who they are.
I accepted my wife for who she is.
Okay.
For who she is. If she changes for the better, to God be the glory. If things change for the worse, we will deal with it. We'll work through it.
So it sounds like that you're so messed up that you had to do all the changing, and she just was like, yes.
In a sense, yes. So in a sense, I was so. No. In a sense, you are right. I started. She had to make. She had to make minor changes to herself, and to her attitude, and her demeanor, how she comes off. Certain things hey babe, I don't like this. Hey babe, you got to do this to better yourself. Hey babe, you got to do this to present yourself more. Or why don't you speak up? Or it's okay that this is a safe space to be genuine about who you are.
I just thought of something.
To other people. So minor changes, yes.
Okay.
But for me, I came from the streets, man. I was in the streets. So for me to be, just like she said, for me to be where I am and to be the man I am today, I had to do a 360. 180. I had to do 180.
Your changing outshadowed the whole marriage. It was so much that it kind of outshadowed all the other changing anybody else might have been doing because came from the streets.
No, so the reason I would say the reason I got married is because I changed. If I didn't get there,
Okay. I understand that.
Repeat that?
The reason I got married is because I made those changes and I changed
Oh,
who
yeah.
I was.
Yeah, I wasn't going to
Okay.
marry you the way you were.
Yeah.
I
So
wasn't going to say yes.
she and you peep this, her background, God-fearing woman, grew up in a God-fearing home. She was in a church. So all the time, she did have her little her
Don't put her out there like that. Careful.
She did have her. No,
We're not putting any of this in there.
We're being transparent. She did have her. Let me find my relationship with God myself moment, which everybody does. Which everybody does. And
Good rephrasing.
Yeah,
Good
and I met her at the tail end of that. in the middle or the tail end of that, which I experienced too. But for the most part, she is a well-rounded, well-brought-up woman. If you either caught her before or after. After that period.
Oh, boy, he's still learning. He's still learning.
Can I answer the
yes,
question?
please, go ahead.
I thought of something that I have grown
Please share.
in. The way in which I respond when there's conflict. I do.
Yes.
That's like something I've had to grow through. My normal is just to shut down and we're just not going to talk. And I realized in our marriage that wouldn't work for us. And, you know, just in terms of how he responds if I were to shut down. And so that's something that I've had to grow through. And I think conflict looks a lot different now.
It does. Very much so.
Because I can't shut down.
Because I will walk
I
all
can't
over
be.
you.
I can't do.
So you used to shut down, and then, but you. It was one of the questions there. You would want to like deal with it immediately, and you
I wanted
something else.
I wanted it to be solved immediately. I wanted a resolution.
And he wanted time to process.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That was the other way. Okay,
Yeah.
it was the other way around. Okay.
And so when he would need the processing time, you were trying to search for a resolution. Okay, what are we going to do next time? Or make sure we don't do this
We don't do
again.
this again.
And make sure that
All
kind of
of that.
thing.
All of
That
that.
kind of thing. And you were like, just give me a moment. Just
Precisely.
give me a moment. Give me a
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
And then the pressing caused a lot of conflict.
So, but when did you shut down? When did you?
All throughout our dating period,
Oh,
and even in marriage.
and that
But
looks
it's-
like not talking.
Yeah, just cold shoulder. We just won't talk.
How is that now? How do you deal with conflict now? Oh, take a moment.
Because, like I said, we're all wired in a certain way. And I'm wired in a way to just want to shut down and just, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be next to you. I don't want you to touch me. I don't want nothing to do with you. In those moments, it's like literally 0 to 100. And so I've learned how to kind of draw that back, dial that back, and remember, okay, this is the person I married. Okay. You really want to not be married to this person? You really want to throw them outside? Like, because literally in those moments, I feel like I've had those moments where it's been, I don't want to say emotional, but emotional is probably a part of that, where I'm just so in those feelings and I can't shake those feelings. And the way conflict looks now, we're talking. Hey, okay, let me know when you're ready to talk about it.
I'm on the couch. Come on.
Do you circle back and be like, okay, I'm ready now?
Most of the time, if I am in the space, I turn off the TV. I go and sit down. Okay, babe, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? And we go through the whole.
That is a very
yourself.
mature thing to do.
It
is.
It is.
I'm saying that it is because it is easy to, we'll talk about it later, and then later never comes.
Yes.
And then that can foster a whole bunch of other issues, and it also can compile issues where the conversation can be about any or all of the issues, and then the other ones that weren't mentioned before. And then nothing ever gets settled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Oh no, if it's up to me, I will not let it go undealt with.
Yeah,
I will make it a point. Hey, we still got to talk about X, Y, and Z.
Turn it off after space. Let's get to it.
If you want to see another clip, click right here. If you want to see the full episode, click right here.